I got my Robert Deller shades on right
I
now.
saw that. It was like, man,
Nice.
I missed the memo. Of course, I'm on my motorcycle, so I don't have my Ray-Bans.
These are world famous, you know. So let me see if I can get the man up here right quick. Let's see here. We bring you up in here. Let me go over here to Be Live. Boom. There you are, brother. How you doing, man? Oh, I got you muted. Hold on just a second here.
Yeah, we want to hear them.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Tiki Man.
I got my, these glasses are famous, man. You see them all over the world, especially on the beaches in Hawaii.
That's right. And wearing a pair of the new ones that I'm going to be sending you for the big birthday bash and summer festival here on the 10th. You're going to get them. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, got my
I'll
koozie.
send it to you for all your guests.
Oh, nice.
Very
nice.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, very cool,
Nice.
You're
man.
welcome.
So sweet.
Unfortunately, I'm going to take these off and put my glass on so I can see.
The joys of getting old.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
joys.
but you look so cool in those glasses. You look cool in the ones you were wearing just a little while ago. And
Yeah.
it's really good to be back on the radio with you. It's been, 7, 8 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
man. It's been crazy. I was talking earlier in the show how much fun we used to have just doing radio back when we didn't know what in the hell we were doing. And all of the sound checks and things, and all this stuff, that people will never really understand about. But not that we know what we're doing now. We just, because it looks easy doesn't mean it is,
Well, you've taken it to a whole new level here with video broadcasting. I mean, we were bouncing off the internet and we were getting kicked off, and we were coast to coast in 49 countries.
Yep.
At the time. You invited me on the radio, and it was only supposed to be a couple of shows. It ended up being 7 hours a week for, I figured, 64 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I can't do the math, but that's a lot of hours on the radio. And sometimes it went a little longer, sometimes it went a little longer than that.
Yeah,
But we never disappointed our audience. And like you always say, the possibilities are endless. And what can go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? We
That's
just
right.
make it work.
That's right. As long as you're having fun with it. I've got some, broadcasters that, Scotty Chill does a show on Friday nights and sends it over to me. And then B-Dog and Lou do a show here live in the studio on Wednesday nights, and they just, it's fun watching them learn, and get better and better and better as they go along, It's a little different for B-Dog because he had to start out doing video from the get-go,
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. He came over here for his first show, and he's like, so we're just doing radio. I'm like, no, we're going to do video, too.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole new level. And I remember when you first called me on the phone, I had a little tiki bar down in California.
Yeah.
And, said I was just looking at somebody that had a tiki bar, like I have a tiki bar, and you came across my name. Then you say, hey, Robbie, would you like to do something special and be on the radio? And I said, what does that mean? It means we'll do coast to coast. You do California and West Coast, and I'll do East Coast. And we'll mix it up. And maybe because your connection to Hawaii, you can go a little farther west. And we did that for almost 2 years. And it was one of the best times of my life. And I really want to get back into doing that. But when you went out and formed Tiki Man Radio, and I did a couple of guest spots on there for you, I kept thinking, well, maybe someday I'll get back to that. I was going to do a podcast. And then one thing led to another. I don't know if you know this, but the Pineapple Princess and I moved from California.
You told me that,
We're now in Eastern Washington, and I got to tell you a quick story. When we got in the car and we drove to Washington, we didn't think that we were going to have any problems. But it took us 25 hours and 3 days to get here. 3 dogs, a cat. We looked like the Clampets driving up. I'm not kidding you. But then when we got here, there's 8 feet of snow. This is the worst snowstorm in 200 years.
Of course.
We left California for this. What the heck were we thinking?
Yeah. But then you fell in love with the town.
And well, now I wrote a song about the experience. It's called Richland. It did receive a Best Folk Recording award from the Indie Music Channel Awards down in Hollywood, and the Best Producer Award for the acoustic version. There was also an electric version, all about the trip to Richland from California, and that was just a lot of fun and an experience of a lifetime, and I'll never forget it. But now that we're here, we met a lot of people, and then we got shut down. Mm-hmm. As you know, this pandemic just ruined it for a lot of people. And what do? Well, after you build a few puzzles and you paint a few rocks, the Pineapple Princess was painting art by number. We just kind of ran out of things to do, so we decided to take the dogs for long walks, and I wrote a few songs, and one of them was about the pandemic called "The Invisible Enemy," and I just released that on an EP, and that was kind of interesting because I recorded it right here where I'm sitting on my phone. I sent the tracks to my producer down in Hermosa Beach, and we got it recorded, and it's out now, and I couldn't be more happier with the way technology is going. As you were talking with Percy a little while ago, I mean, you were doing all kinds of new things with creating avenues for recordings and broadcasting and reaching the public, and that's what we have to do. We have to stay busy. We have to stay focused. We can't let it get us down.
Well, trying to always focus on the positive vibes of things. I mean, and I get people that know me, I get just as frustrated as everybody else about a lot of things. But you've got to. You can sit around here and complain like, okay, well, the world is shut down. I'm not going to be able to do this, that, or other. But you can figure out to do something. And as it turns out, internet radio. And YouTube and everything turned out to be the biggest thing in 2020 because everybody's working from home and listening to the radio. It was fantastic it was like a once in a lifetime thing with internet radio that really just kind of fell into our laps, and we took full advantage of it.
Well, you did. You've got 2,700 or more subscribers on your
2930 this morning.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I think I had 13 when I was Robbie Coloda on the radio.
Yeah.
We had a lot of listeners, but it's really something. I did hear you mention something about Tuesdays and Thursdays being back on the radio. I don't know how that's going to work, so you're going to have to send me an email and we'll have to talk after the show. I'd love to do something like that if it helps you out, or just to give you a vacation. Like you said, you're going to be going on after you do your big party on the 10th.
Yeah,
I can understand that. Now, we're going to go to Hawaii. We couldn't go last year. In fact, we had my father scheduled to come up here for my mother's 90th birthday during the pandemic, and had it all paid for. And next thing you know, they shut it down. So we had to cancel that. I hadn't seen them for over a year. We booked a flight down for this last March to Palm Springs, where they are at, and we celebrated her 91st birthday. Now, I promised Dad I'd have to get down there this November for his 90th. And he said, well, why didn't you come down here for Father's Day? I said, well, that's great, but it's 120 degrees down there. I think I'm going to stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
And even though we don't have a pool like you do, where you are, we do run through the sprinklers. That's kind of a new thing.
There you go. Well, you talked about the connecting the West Coast and the East Coast as far as music goes. That's always been a passion of mine. It's very hard to do. But we've got we did something not too long ago called a Tiki Head DJ for an hour, and the very first person who did that was a guy named K-Kutch. It was what we call him, K-Man. He keeps changing his name because they find out where he's at, but we call him K-Kutch, and he was the very first Tiki Head DJ for an hour. And it's really cool. You just send the vocals, and I put it all together, produce it, and do all that stuff, and send it out. And I was telling him the exact same thing. Anytime you want to maybe kick around doing a show or something, because connecting the music scene in California is different than it is on the East Coast. It is on the West Coast. And when you and I talked all those years ago, you didn't know what the hell trop rock was. It was called surf rock and all that stuff. Never heard of it before. And that was the point of trying to connect, to take these artists that were up and coming, the Barefoot Reggies at the time that had one or two songs and all this stuff, and connect that audience out there so they could discover these artists and still be able to bring in the Hawaiian thing, from Tiki Island radio days, because you're out that way. So it's still a passion of mine, and if you ever decide to do it, then the radio is always open for you. We got Tuesdays and Thursdays open. I'd suggest you do like an hour or two, and then just cut, because you know how it is. It sucks you into this hole, right? And and then you feel guilty when you don't do a show because there's so many people that are looking forward to your show.
Well, there was Sunshine Deborah Miller. We had Rick Martinez, Bobby McQueen, of course, and all the cast of characters. Dan Turner. I mean, Johnny B. Yourself. I mean, it was so many people, and I do miss Dottie Riddle. I mean, I could go on. Bruce Emerson, to name a few. Yeah. They're always in the back of my mind. We became good friends. We still connect with each other. And they're saying, we miss the Robbie Coloda show. Yeah. We want you back on the radio. I said, well, maybe there'll be a day someday. And there you are, again, in my life.
He sucks you in, Robbie.
Yeah, popping up like a bad penny. Yeah, I know. But I just,
I love what you did for me and for the radio and for what you're doing right now for all rock musicians worldwide. I mean, they are listening. And I would like to do that, and maybe we can work something out.
Well, that whole thing, a lot of people don't know the backstory, but I was trying to find new music, new artists on the West Coast, and trying to introduce it to the East Coast. And so I found your music, found your band, reached out to you for an interview on the radio. We became really good friends, and then we had an opening at Tiki Island Radio, and then I was going to take the Sunday show and Happy Hour show. You took that over, so it all worked out. You just never know because, we didn't know each other till I reached out to you, and it all falls into place all those years ago.
6 degrees of separation, my friend. We are brothers from another mother. I heard you say that in last week's show.
That's right.
Indeed. But, like some of the musicians that you mentioned, there's Ricky Hanna. I think we had him a couple of times. Yeah. I mean, we're so close right now. I'm going to go to Hawaii for my wife, Pineapple Princess, and my 20-year anniversary here this August. And he said, well, if you're going to be on Oahu, come look me up. And he was out floating around on Waikiki Beach with an ukulele here that was waterproof. So I had to have one. I went and got one. Here it is.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Oh, there it is.
The coolest thing.
That is so cool.
And that's a Ricky Hanna thing. So, we do stay in touch with these musicians. I'm still very close to the musicians, of course, in California that I played with and worked with. And they're doing some very interesting things now, too. So that'd be kind of fun if I were to let you know what they're doing to broadcast their music during that pandemic. And, and now how they're breaking themselves out of that mode because... And all the songs, like your last guest just mentioned, that he's writing. I've been writing and creating lots of songs too. I don't know what I'm going to release and how I'm going to release them, but they're there, and we keep moving forward. It's, we don't want that rock to collect any moss. Nope. And it is an opportunity. We're just going to share the good news out there to all of our listeners, and I will be back. As Schwarzenegger used to say, I'll be back.
I'll be back, yeah. Well, Ricky Hanna, of course, a lot of people, if you see him do his live videos on the beach, he has this pineapple suit and a pineapple guitar, and he's on the balcony of his condo, it looks like, and Hawaii is in the ocean is in the background. It's just like, you may not even be listening to the song because you're just mesmerized by the whole scene of what you're seeing.
Oh, he's a character. You see Diamond Hen in the background. Sometimes he's down there at Duke's, the Royal Hawaiian, playing on Sundays with Henry Capono. Yeah. And he's another guy that I've come close to getting to know. We both have the same guitar. It's a signature series, Henry Capono, a limited edition, and I have the #1 signed signature guitar from him. And so I don't think I'll be getting to Oahu this time. There's some island problems here, traveling and testing and all of that. But one day we will, for sure.
Is your lovely mom watching you on YouTube this morning?
I hope so. I mean, I sent a direct link after I sent her the original post because I realized that she had to click on video, and I'm not sure she was going to be able to do that. But I'll call her this afternoon. Like we talk every Sunday, and see if she did. If not, I said, hey, I'm sure Tiki Man will have this in a rebroadcast a little later on.
Absolutely. Well, what I love to do, it's so cool how we used to go back and cut out the interviews, and we had loaded those up on SoundCloud separately, and I still do that. But now I have the ability to go back and cut out the video interviews and load them up on YouTube. So it's just a whole nother level of fun for me.
Well, good. We'll have to send that to her for sure afterwards.
Well, I'm going to play one of my favorite songs of yours. Of course, I always play it, Hula Girls, okay? So we're going to...
Oh, no. Okay.
We're going to be right back with you, all right?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Robbie Coloda, as I like to call him, is joining us, and this is one of his all-time favorites that I like, Hula Girls. Here we go.
Together having fun. Tell everyone you know to live aloha. Many tales talk about this sacred hula dance of legend and of ancient myth and its long romance. They say Pele lent her hand and started it all. Hula, hula, hula girls, you are the sparkle of the islands. Puka shells and lace so fair, the grass skirts that you wear. It's the way you move your hips, so many flowers in your hair. You are so beautiful and much, much more. Your lips and smile I adore. Pele is known as the goddess of fire. She had two sisters, one danced with desire, a dance that could warm your heart and kill away a smile. And on that night, the hula dance was born to celebrate the harvest, the sugar cane and corn. Tonight the girls will hula dance for you and me. Girls, you are the sparkle of the islands. Puka shells and lace so fair, the grass skirts that you wear. It's the way you move your hips, so many flowers in your hair. You are so beautiful and much, much more. Your lips and smile I adore. Dancing makes me feel alive. You talk to me with hands and with eyes. Your dancing puts me in a trance. Oh God, now you say it's my turn to hula dance. Hula, hula, hula girls, you are the sparkle of the islands. Puka shells and lace so fair, the grass skirts that you wear. It's the way you move your hips, so many flowers in your hair. You are so beautiful and much, much more. Your lips and smile I adore. Aloha hula girls. Aloha hula girls. Aloha hula.
And we're back.
We lost Robbie.
Man, I tell you, that song takes me way back. I mean, that was one of my first songs that I'd played of yours, and a lot of people that didn't follow us back in those days in Tiki Island Radio. It was all Polynesian type music, and as we progressed along and got more involved with the trop rock and all that stuff, I kind of leaned towards the trop rock side of things and trying to connect all of that. But man, Hula Girls always takes me back to those Polynesian Tiki Island Radio days.
Who doesn't like Hula Girls, right?
That's right.
Well, yeah.
That's
I
right.
went to a lot of trouble researching Hula Girls, Kilauea, Banyan Tree. All the history of the Hawaiian Islands was on that first album At the Beach. Mm-hmm. And I try to put a lot of research into all of my songs. They're all based on real life experiences. So there's a lot of truism here to all these songs about the islands. If you're going to write a song about the islands, especially about Hula Girls, you better get it right. Yeah. So you don't want the locals telling you that, hey, man, that was not good, and not want to play my music over there. But it is a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad you still like it. That was the album that came out, that first album, I want to say 2008. So we're looking at 10 albums later, probably over 150 songs. They're all on YouTube. They're all on iTunes. Mm-hmm. They're all on Amazon Music. You go there and you can type in the Robert Deller Band and pull up your favorite. You don't have to take the whole album home. These days, you used to buy your own album back in the old days. And buy the album to get your favorite song. These days, you could just download one song for 99 cents and it's yours for life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the beauty of what's going on with iTunes and I just had a lot of fun. I still get some royalty checks, so there are a few people out there buying my music. But you know what? You play to enjoy it. If I ever did this to make a living, I think I'd be in the poorhouse. So It's a good thing. My father said when I wanted to, be a musician at 17 years old, no, you're going to college. He was right. But I am having fun now in my semi-retirement days, and I look forward to keep playing. Now I'm going to break out the guitars and play some more here locally. When I moved from LA, I rated 676 a band in LA here on the top musicians chart. I moved to Richland, Washington, and I hit #1 because there's not a lot of musicians here in Richland. I was able to get inducted into the Hall of Fame in Los Angeles because of that ranking.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Nice.
Inspiring musicians out there that are rated down the totem pole, move to some place that nobody knows your name.
Wow. Well, congratulations, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's very cool, man. There was such a special time in my life, and I don't know if I really, told you how much I really appreciate you being a part of it when we first started doing radio and learning about you. And you're so right about the, I learned a lot about the Hawaiian culture. And how serious it is, really. I mean, I always talk about the ancient tiki leaders and all that stuff. It's kind of similar to the same thing with the Polynesian and Hawaiian culture and aloha, all of that good stuff, that is a big part of intertwined within me, and you were a big part of that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, I'm glad that you've been a good part of what I do, and I learned about trop rock. I've written some trop rock songs since then. They're on other albums, and you go ahead and do the search for the Robert Deller Band. Go to my website, therobertdellerband.com, and get a glimpse of what I've done and what I'm going to be doing in the future. And hopefully we'll be back on the radio with you, my friend.
I would love it. It's so funny that when you mentioned that earlier about, me talking to you all those years ago about connecting the East Coast to the West Coast. And
let's do it.
That was the same conversation I had with K-Kutch whenever, and I'm still plugging on him to try to get on the radio as well, because he had so much fun with the Tiki Head DJ for an hour thing, which, kind of goes back to those when I was a guest DJ on Margaritaville and Fruitcake on the Radio. And I always thought how cool that was that I was able to do that. So I kind of recreated that with Tiki Man Radio. And, we're very, very fortunate to have some really great sponsors to keep the radio station rolling, pays for all these cameras and all that stuff now, and all these years later. But it's still the same thing, you only do this for the passion. You ain't nobody making no money in radio. If they if they tell you they are, they're lying to you. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, Howard Stern's doing pretty good.
Yeah, I think he's the only one.
Yeah. That boy's doing all right.
Listen, I'm going to be. I've got my mixing board. I got my laptop. I'm going to be in Hawaii for 2 weeks in August. We could talk before then.
Sure.
We can figure something out. Got all the mics, all my studio stuff set up. We just have to plug in and let me know when to do it. And I think I'll come back and help you out and share some aloha for the world.
There you go, man. That's what it's all about. Positive vibes. People, the world needs more positive vibes, okay? You just got to cut off that negativity, cut on the positivity, and for
100%.
God's sakes, listen to some great music.
100%.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you, Tiki, man.
Man, I love you like a brother, man. We're gonna let you fly. We got Demare coming up from Key West here in just a little bit. So thank you so much for carving out some time for us, man.
You got it. Catch you on the flip side.
Yeah, man.
Aloha.
We'll talk soon, okay?
Yeah.
See you, brother.